make them listen to our Chalisa. I'm going to read out point by point. Point by point. Raj Thackeray has just tweeted a letter a few seconds back. He says, make them listen to our Chalisa. That's breaking news number one. Point number one, he says, make them listen to our Hanuman Chalisa. I'm translating the letter and getting in more details point by point. In the letter that he's just tweeted out a few seconds back, Raj Thackeray doesn't seem like he's going to pull back. The subject of his tweet says, appeal to all. It's a 2-page letter that has been put out. Point number one, make them listen to our Chalisa. Now, yesterday, that's in Aurangabad speech, he had said that he will go ahead with the deadline. Now, Sanjay Pathak is on the phone line. He says, we want a signature campaign. Point number one, make them listen to our Hanuman Chalisa. Point number two, he says, start a signature campaign. Sanjay, can you translate and tell us, everything that he's mentioned in that letter there? Sanjay Pathak joining us on the phone line. Sanjay. Sanjay, can you hear me? Okay, we're getting in some more pointers, some more details of what he's requested people through his tweet and the letter that has just been shared on Twitter. That's the breaking news update. Raj Thackeray has just tweeted a letter a few minutes back. I'm reading out some of the pointers of what he has appealed to his supporters through his tweet. He says, point number one, make them listen to our Hanuman Chalisa. Point number two, he says, start a signature campaign. Point number three, he says, call the police on 100 whenever loudspeakers are played. Point number four, he says, as soon as Azan is played, call the police and complain about the loudspeakers. I'm getting in breaking news updates. We'll keep putting out those pointers. In fact, some more supporters of Raj Thackeray here seen gathering outside his residence. So as we speak, here's a letter that he's put out. Raj Thackeray has just shared a letter. He's repeating his loudspeaker ultimatum. I repeat. He says, make them listen to our Hanuman Chalisa. He says, start a signature campaign. He says, wherever Azan is played, please play Hanuman Chalisa. So that's the big breaking news update. The one big takeaway from Raj Thackeray's tweet that he has just put out through his letter, he says, wherever Hanuman Chalisa, wherever Azan is played, I repeat, he's quoting the Supreme Court order in his letter. And he says once again, wherever Azan is played, play the Hanuman Chalisa. He says from 10 p.m. at night to 6 a.m. in the morning, you are not supposed to play the loudspeaker. And that's what he's saying. And I'm getting some more details of what he has mentioned in that letter. I'm going to read out point number one. He says, make them listen to our Hanuman Chalisa. He's not backing off. He says, wherever you listen to the Azan, play the Hanuman Chalisa. Point number two, he says, start a signature campaign. Point number three, he says, call the police on 100 whenever loudspeakers are played. Point number four, he's mentioned the Supreme Court order which prohibits the use of loudspeakers even at religious places. Point number five, he says, as soon as Azan is played, call the police and complain about the loudspeakers. Point number six, he also says they should also understand how loudspeakers are a problem. And he says, I appeal to all Hindu brothers and sisters across India and not just Maharashtra. He's making it national, taking it beyond Mumbai, beyond Maharashtra, beyond Aurangabad. And you heard what Yogi Adityanath said. Very interesting comment, by the way, because Raj Thackeray is scheduled to meet Yogi Adityanath in Ayodhya in June, I think June 5th. That is when Yogi Adityanath celebrates his birthday. There were reports that he would be meeting Yogi Adityanath on the 5th of June. So he says it's not just Maharashtra. And he's saying that all loudspeakers are illegal, and why just loudspeakers? He says there are many loudspeakers that are illegal outside mosques, and he says outside temples as well. And these are some breaking news updates coming in. So I'm just getting in the translation as we speak, as we broadcast. Right outside Raj Thackeray's house, he's just tweeted out a letter. The letter being tweeted at about 8:04 p.m. about 5 minutes back. And as we speak, in the last 4 to 5 minutes, we've been able to pick up some of the details of what he has said. He's not backing down, despite the kind of pressure that he has seen. A 2008 case that is back to sort of haunt him and his party workers. A non-bailable warrant has been issued after almost 14 years, a case that pertains to a comment that was made on migrant workers and some violence that was seen back then in the year 2008. And after that, we've seen the FIR that was filed by the Aurangabad police as well. And despite the pressure and despite the news coming in that the Mumbai police was here also to hand the notice to him personally, he is not backing off. He has just said, wherever there is azan played, play the Hanuman Chalisa. He's not backing off. I'm going across to Shravan as well. Shravan is joining me with more details. I'm getting in some more details, Shravan. Once again, 4 or 5 points that Raj Thackeray has made through his letter. He says, make them listen to our Hanuman Chalisa, start a signature campaign, call police on 100. As soon as azan is played, call police and complain about the loudspeakers. He says they should also understand how much loudspeakers are a problem. I appeal to all Hindu brothers and sisters across India, not just Maharashtra. He's making it national. And he says all loudspeakers are illegal. Why just loudspeakers? He says many illegal loudspeakers at mosques are continue to operate, he says. And he says if the Maharashtra government is allowing loudspeakers in mosques, then we should also get permission to play loudspeakers in temples. Shravan is joining me with more details. I'm going across to Shravan. Shravan has more details. Shravan, what are you hearing?
Well, in fact, this is a two-page statement that has been issued by Maharashtra Navnirman Sena Chief Raj Thackeray just hours before that ultimatum comes to an end. Now, there are three very important points that I would like to put out as far as this statement goes. One, where he is once again reiterating that if at all azan is played, you go ahead playing out the Hanuman Chalisa. Then he also goes saying that play it once again if needed. Make a call to the police is what he says. He's been quoting the Supreme Court order and goes on to once again indicate that the Maharashtra government has completely failed when it comes to handling this entire issue, which he once again calls that this is not a religious issue, but rather a social issue which needs to be tackled. And what is wrong in bringing down illegal loudspeakers? He's also spoken about the fact that Uttar Pradesh government has already taken action. What stops the Maharashtra government from taking that action? You've already seen the kind of response that has come in from the Shiva Sena-led government in